You know, when you're like do a road trip and you're like getting tired while you're driving, and you get home just exhausted. That's how I was. So freaking tired.
Yeah, I still haven't caught up from my 60-hour work week last week. I had no break. I got right back into it this week. Okay.
Okay, go when you're ready.
On this week's sode, French game devs start putting up barricades in the street. Obsidian says they're not trying to make super profitable games, and Ubisoft sales are floating in the septic tank.
And stick around for reindeer games where we pull the old switcheroo.
On you! You just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
And this is Peterson.
And welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. 3-Bit Gamer Show. Bum, bum, bum. 3-Bit Gamer Show. 3-Bit Gamer Show. Bum, bum. 3-Bit Gamer Show. 3-Bit Gamer Show. I don't know.
Yeah, we did it. It's been a while since we did that.
So tired.
No, wake up. You gotta wake up.
So tired. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news is brought to us this week by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies. Go to cravecookies.com. It's a cookie shop. What else? You're going to see on this website some pictures of cookies.
Yeah, they look great too.
The cookies you're looking at are from this week's menu. Yeah, not only is this a cookie shop, it's a cookie shop that updates its menu every single week. Every Friday, we get a new batch of cookies. And it's Tuesday. You're listening to this podcast on release. I know you guys listen to it the day it comes out, if not the morning it comes out.
Immediate, 7 a.m. Bam, go.
Just chew through it right away. And so you're wondering, well, wait a sec. These are the cookies. How do I know what cookies are coming out this Friday? Well, we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you 4 days early. First up, the Better Than X. This is the last day.
Last week.
The porn cookie.
Yeah.
A Better Than Sex cake cookie. The Almond Joy, if you like almonds and you
That's a good one.
Joy.
You like Joy?
Almond Joys, you're going to like this. The Biscudoodle. This is a snickerdoodle with Biscoff.
It's a poodle and a biscuit together.
Just cram it together. The Oatmeal Scotchy. This is new.
Okay. Yeah.
It's it's like a scotcheroo, but oatmeal. I don't know. It looks dope. It looks dope.
I'm always down for the oatmeal cookies.
Oatmeal, yeah. Oatmeal butterscotch. Yes, please. And then chilled berry crumble is the last one. Yeah, it's like a cold cookie. I bought just bags and bags of frozen berries.
Yeah.
For this week. Yeah,
I like the berry ones. What?
It's gonna be legit. Yeah.
All right.
This one's sick. Yeah, it's like supposed to be like a crumble, like a berry crumble pie or whatever. Berry pie.
like a yeah, I know.
It's gonna be good. Just get your ass down here and eat some Crave cookies.
Why don't you just try it for yourself?
Why don't you shove it in your mouth? Get your cookie on. Video game developers in France have staged their first ever industry-wide strike. Strike. Everybody, now we're watching Newsies.
Oh, I'm always down for some Newsies.
Everyone should be down for some Newsies. This is the STJV union. Hard to say that fast.
Yeah, it's a French thing.
It's a French thing. And it is not necessarily representing, but it is part of the game workforce in France, which totals anywhere between 12 and 15,000. And there are a couple of thousands of those within this union. And the organizers of the strike are calling for a halt to layoffs, better working conditions, and more transparency on business structures and finances. This is my favorite quote. This comes from Vincent, and then the last name. There's no fucking way I get this out. Kambaduzu.
I think you nailed it.
I don't know. He is a delegate at Ubisoft Paris, and this quote was so spot on for everything we've been saying in this podcast for the last 5 years. He said, "There's people taking terrible decisions and getting our industry into the state it's in now. Then they ask us to pick up the tab."
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've been saying. The absolute chuckle fucks at the top that are making these insane decisions are never facing any consequences. And they're like, well, I'll make a crazy call. I'll make a stupid fucking game called Suicide Squad. And I'm going to force all of these people that aren't used to working on a game like this to make it over the course of 4 to 5 years. And when it fails, inevitably,
they lose their
they
jobs.
are going to lose their jobs. Me, yeah. I'm on to the next thing.
I'm fine. Yeah,
I'm on to the next terrible idea. And I honestly probably got a bonus for it.
And it's just the quick oopsie, and then we'll move on,
So this whole thing it stemmed from a few labor disputes at smaller studios that were having layoffs. They're like, oh, we're going to lay off a bunch of people. And so the rest of the people that weren't getting laid off just walked out. And that happened like a couple times. And now it's just grown into this general strike.
French love striking. Oh, we know that.
Dude,
I'm pretty good at it too.
I love that this thing just emerges naturally too.
I think in France, people start striking in the street, and then I think French people, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think when you see someone striking in France, you just get the carnal urge to just jump right in and join, even if you don't know what they're. You're like, I'm in. We're marching again, and they start barricading the street. They sing songs from Les Mis. It's crazy over there.
There were, like tens of thousands of layoffs here in the US, and everyone, these game devs essentially
we were like,
they just put together a Google Doc. They're like, that's like the extent of organization that we had over here. But yeah, in France, they're doing shit. And I don't know, maybe it spreads across this overseas. Maybe it spreads within Europe. I don't know. But I love the idea of these workers finally just putting their foot down. They're like, fine, no games. No one gets games. Quite frankly, if the entire gaming industry went on strike for the next 5 years and just let it just wash out, let the Phil Spencers and Bobby Koticks of the world just kind of fizzle up and dry up and die, and then started anew, that would be fine for me. Do you think I don't have enough video games on my fucking backlog and my wish list to keep me occupied for 5 years? Because I fucking do. And I won't need a new GPU to play them. No, let's just put it on pause. That's my new thing. Strike. 5-year strike. Fuck the video game industry. It's all over now. Just put your foot down. No one makes video games. No one scabs for 5 fucking years. And we just starve these assholes out. No video game companies over 10 people will survive this shit. Yeah. Starve them out. Fuck them.
What about Concerned Ape or Stardew Valley? Can he put some updates?
Is he under 10 developers? Yeah.
Are you saying the indies can keep going?
That's why I said 10 people.
Yeah.
If you got fewer than 10 people working on your game, just keep going, because quite frankly, we're still going to get amazing games out of that group.
It'll be fine. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah, right. Everyone else strikes. Everyone else, if you're working for a studio over 10, you're scabbing.
You heard it here first, guys. JD wants a strike, and he wants it now.
This is beyond general strike. There's a new term for what this is. This is just no, we're shutting down the entire industry.
A shutdown. That's what we need to do. We need to do a shutdown.
Shutdown.
Yeah. Fuck it. Because it's not like this industry, this pretty inconsequential. It's not this isn't the drivers, truck drivers who are shutting down the country, right? This is just video games.
Yeah, and there's still a million trucks out there that we haven't played on our backlog. We'll be fine. Shut it down. Everybody, shut it down. We're done. We're not making video games. Not till 2030.
Question: will we continue the podcast?
You don't think we have enough indie games to cover?
Shut down.
No, we have 5 years of documenting these assholes, these executive and C-suite buttholes.
We'll just be recording. We'll just be talking about a new Luigi situation every week in France. Well, what's the Luigi version?
We get rounded up.
Jacques took out another guy today out in France.
We have to keep recording the podcast, because what else are they going to play back to us while we're sitting in our secret prison cell getting interrogated?
They're like, you guys started this. You incited this
shit you guys said.
We just yes, this is our fault.
Obsidian says that they won't chase huge profits or grow aggressively, and that's how they're going to stay around for another 100 years. They haven't hit the first 100 years, but they've got a 100-year plan. This is the studio. If you guys aren't familiar with Obsidian Entertainment, they're behind Outer Worlds, Grounded, and then most recently Avowed, the kind of Skyrim looking game. They also made South Park: Stick of Truth and Fallout New Vegas.
Like they have a good pedigree.
Fantastic pedigree, honestly, but they don't step outside of their lane, which is really notable these days when it's every studio is, especially the ones owned by Microsoft, are being like bullied, strong-armed, or just straight up pushed into making live service games. Obsidian's just like, no, we're just gonna kind of stay quietly in our lane. This was speaking at this year's DICE Summit. Obsidian Entertainment Vice President of Operations Marcus Morgan and the Vice President of Development Justin Britch. That was an easy name to have in junior high. They said they're focusing on staying lean, holding on to their talent, and setting realistic sales expectations. They laid out at this summit, they laid out a 5, 10, and 100-year plan. Now, I joke, but I am shocked to see even a 5-year plan in this world.
1,000. I was going to say that's exactly what I was going to say.
Usually you get a 5-week
5-year plan. These guys can't plan past the next quarter.
Yeah, it's all quarters. It's all quarters because that's how my bonus is set up. So a 5-year plan is beyond us. 100 years is like, dude, what?
Here's
what
I like about this. I like this because first off, if you set your sights on just like realistic targets instead of these like exponential growth, you're not going to be looking at you're not disappointed, I guess. But also you can set up your long-range business plan to match that. So you're like, okay, our sales targets are not astronomical. We're not looking to sell 80 million every time we make a game because it costs us 400 million to make. We're not trying to sell 80 million copies, right? They've looked at their pedigree, they know what they do, and they can forecast generally what their sales might look like. And so they build their staff around that. And that's, I think, honestly, a healthy way to run this business. Especially, I think they're seeing what's happening in the market, what's happening in the industry, how they're not overvaluing their games because they make good games, but they don't make like mind-blowing games, right?
No.
They make a good game that people are going to play. And I think a lot of their games aren't even $60. They're like $40.
Yeah. And they say to that point on their employees, they say that they're aiming for the quote lowest turnover rate in the industry. I mean, if I'm working at Obsidian and I hear my two of my vice presidents say that at DICE Summit, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm locked in here. Especially with all this, how tumultuous the industry is right now, to hear that, like, oh, we don't want any turnover here. We want to keep everyone in-house. We want to keep our talent. I mean, that's a fantastic, that alone is a more successful and viable and sustainable business model than literally anything else that's going on at Microsoft Game Studios right now. Which is like, just make a game that's going to make us money. And Obsidian's like, we're focusing on our staff and our employment and our employees. And they say, we're not trying to grow aggressively. We're not trying to expand our team size or make super profitable games. So they're just doing
they're making a game, and if it's the type of thing where if you get lucky, you get lucky, if the game sells just crazy. But one thing you said right at the beginning is you said they're not stepping out of their lane, but their lane is honestly huge because I mean they make RPGs, right? They make RPGs, but that list of games that you read off are vastly different settings. Right, you got Outer Wilds, you've got South Park, you've got Outer Worlds, you got South Park. So you've got all these games that are you've got RPGs, but they're very, very different, which I think is great because they're not making the same game over and over. They're making the same genre of game in different types.
The point that they said is that they want to they want to release games at a consistent pace, not rushed, but often. And so when you're making all sorts of different games and you're making them quickly, like they pump out more games at Obsidian in just a couple years than most studios take to announce a new game.
Yeah.
Like if you look at what Bethesda's done with Elder Scrolls since Skyrim came out in 2012, 13 years ago, and all we've gotten since then is just like the words Elder Scrolls 6 at a trailer at E3 when they still existed. That was the last time we heard of fucking Elder Scrolls. So like that in that amount of time, they've already put out Avowed. From the time that was announced to the time that we are now, they put out a game.
If you were the studio making Elder Scrolls games and you made Skyrim, why would you stop making them?
Because you got to make what was that? Starfield. You got to spend 8 years making Starfield, an absolute just wet fart.
You do Fallout and you do Elder Scrolls, Elder Ring. You do Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and you just bang those out. Just you
have the formula.
Them. Fallout.
You have the everything built. You have the engine. You have everything. It's not like they ever look different. Fallout 3 looks and feels just like Fallout 4 did.
If they gave me a new Fallout, if they should be on like the Olympic schedule, right? Every two years, Elden Ring messed it all up. Elder Scrolls, 2 years. Next 2 years, then we're looking at Fallout. So then they got a 4-year cycle for each games. That's what they need to be doing. They need to be doing the Olympics cycle. And honestly, they would just be rolling in cash right now. But they stopped doing what made them amazing, and they've missed multiple times in a row now. Yeah, so I don't know. Obsidian, I like this business plan, and genuinely, I think some of these mid-sized studios, we're going to start seeing this type of thing from them more, the right messaging, because these are the guys who are they're not overstaffed, they're not bloated, and trying to make a $400 million game. These mid-sized studios like Obsidian, and they're the ones who can see what's happening in the industry and make a pivot, make a change to say, okay, we're going to be better than what our counterparts are doing, and we're going to make video games again. So,
yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I hope we see a little bit more of this.
Positive. That's a positive news story.
It's a sustainable business. On a recent podcast that nobody listened to, former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick and an EA executive took turns rubbing Kotick off.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's fucking weird. I mean, it was a good thing nobody saw this or watched this or listens or cares about anything Bobby Kotick does in 2025.
No, that's not true. Bobby Kotick cares about what Bobby Kotick does.
I mean, if you look at the YouTube, like the thumbnail, they chose that picture of him where he looks like especially ghoulish. Like he sent that. I'm sure they invited him on the podcast and they talked to his publicist or whoever the fuck, his secretary. And like, we need a picture for the splash art for YouTube.
We know the one.
Them this.
We have the
this picture is terrible of him, and he thinks this is the best picture there is.
This is his picture, though. This is it. This is who he is.
An absolute gargoyle looking motherfucker. So this was EA Chief Creative Officer Bing Gordon. You ever see these people in the news and you're like, did you end up in this position because like this is what you were destined to do, or because your name? Like this, you just didn't have a choice. Bing Gordon was talking on this alongside Bobby Kotick on a podcast called Kleiner Perkins. It's like a startup, or like it's a founders focused podcast.
Oh yeah.
Which anyway, he was the big story is not that they were taking turns sexually satisfying Bobby Kotick, because that's basically what it was. But the big poll takeaway from this was that Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, and Blizzard were all offered to EA first. That was what we learned from Bing Gordon, is that EA had the first crack at Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, and buying Blizzard outright, which is fantastic because all three of those could have been ruined 5 years earlier than they were.
Yeah, the EA would have done horrible things with them.
In a far worse manner. There's like you can argue that these were all mismanaged under their current ownership, But EA, you cannot argue EA would have done.
EA does not have a good track record.
No, good God, no. And I think they knew that too. They're like, dude, we can barely do what we're doing in house, right? We don't want to take in Blizzard and try to do EA's version of World of Warcraft. Ugh. So Gordon goes on, Bing Gordon. God, I can't believe that's his real fucking name. Bing Gordon. He goes on to praise Kotick for keeping many of the original Blizzard team members in place after the company came. He's like, good job. You did a great thing. All those Cosby Suite alums, all those garbage trash people, good job keeping them in charge of the studio for 10 years as you dismantled it and gutted it and kept those assholes around. Good job.
Yeah.
And then Kotick goes off to talk in this interview about how the World of Warcraft movie was already in the works when he negotiated purchasing Blizzard as the head of Activision, and it was the worst movie he'd ever seen. And that it was a mistake for the company to focus on that over making games. But it's not my fault. They were already doing that when I showed up, when I bought them.
What was I supposed to do? Oh, man.
Dude, fuck these guys. This is what I'm saying. These guys. This is what your general shutdown till 2030.
We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of these guys. We won't have to hear from these chuckle fucks anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, play it.
Dude, it's time for JD's sales report.
Guys, it's JD's sales report, which after all these long years of really fighting, going back and forth with our production company that really didn't want to make JD's sales report a thing. It's a thing now.
I can still delete it.
Edison, play my clip.
If you hang in there long enough, good things can happen in this world. I mean, look at me.
Everyone needs to know what that's from.
I was listening to that at work the other day, and I thought, that's me. That's JD's sales report. I just hung around long enough, and one good thing happened to me.
Oh,
sitting there with
such a great movie too, by the way. You gotta everyone needs to rewatch that movie every now and then.
Tom, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. Yes, just truly terrible. Xbox sales have hit rock bottom. After a historic 2024 decline. This Xbox sold an estimated 2.7 million units in the US last year. 2.7
We're talking about the Xbox,
the
console.
Box itself. Yeah, this was apparently the worst full year performance in Xbox history. I think they're just saying numbers. Like, since the Xbox came out in like 2001 or 2000 or whatever, they haven't sold this few units. This also in Europe, 290,000 units.
That's it.
That's like a couple semi-trucks worth. That is not that many. And for context, that was 2024. In 2023, they sold 3.8 million. So they went from 3.8 to 2.7 million in a year. And then on the other side, PlayStation sold 4 million. So PlayStation outsold their last number. Last year, they outsold 2023's numbers. They almost doubled them this 2024. Like, it is, Xbox is, I don't know what they're fucking thinking, because nothing is taking. I mean, we did talk about last week that Games Pass is kind of clicking up.
I think they are. I mean, and they've mentioned like they kind of want to get out of the console game and just be done with consoles. I think that's their business strategy long term. I think
like
they're getting
McDonald's
out.
trying to get out of the chicken game by just like poisoning all their chicken. And they're like, no one buys our poisoned chicken anymore. This helps us get out of the chicken game. What are you fucking doing? Why are you poisoning your brand? You're like, well, chicken costs extra money. It's killing us.
We're a burger restaurant, really.
Why are we doing chickens in the first place? So stupid. Ubisoft revenues have declined to 31.4% to 990 million euros, whatever that means.
31% decline.
Yeah,
is
that's the
rough.
key there. 31% year on year. Their net bookings were down 35%.
That's
Digital net bookings down 34%, and back catalog
Ooh.
net bookings, this is like their older games that they're selling, are down 27%. So the only thing coming in here for the save, maybe
Yeah, this is what they have going for them right
is
now.
Assassin's Creed Shadows,
Mhm.
which the pre-orders, Guillermo is saying the pre-orders are solid. I don't think solid is what you want when you're down 30%. You need blockbuster. You need groundbreaking. You need earth-shattering. Solid
Crushing
ain't gonna
it.
get you through. He
At
said,
least it's not abysmal. That's I
yeah,
think the
you
flip
don't want that
side.
because that's where you're looking. You're calling up the Saudis like, hey, can you
Can you
buy
buy
us? Guillermo said, "quote early about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Early previews have been positive." And then he says, I want to commend the incredible talent and dedication of the entire Assassin's Creed team who is working tirelessly. Ugh, I don't like the sound of that. To ensure that Shadows delivers on the promise of what the franchise's most ambitious entry yet. And then, after this quote, comes my favorite follow-up. This one is so good. So he goes on, he's talking about how great the Assassin's Creed team is, how they've been working essentially nonstop crunch because he keeps firing their coworkers. And then he says, in parallel, we are progressing well on our cost reduction program.
Was that mean,
He's
Eve?
saying at the same time that the team on Assassin's Creed is crushing it. We are firing people, and it's going great. We are firing, like we are really doing well with the firings.
He says our cost reduction program.
Fuck you. See, this guy's got to go too. 2030.
I don't like the wording on that. Like, because that just sounds
motherfuckers out.
Yeah, that just sounds
I'm so over it.
Layoffs.
I'm so over these sociopath fucks
Cost
that
reduction.
just control everything. It's crazy that they say that, like they hear it come out of their mouths, and then they like go out into the real world and do like human things, like brush their teeth and tie their shoes when they're not actually humans.
This is the guy France is going. This is the guy France is up against. Really,
kneel him down in front of a fucking guillotine. He's done.
And because just like they were saying, Ubisoft has made several bad decisions, and again, cost
and it's
reduction
always
program. It's
at the top.
Oh yeah, always Eve. So yeah, but they've made these bad decisions, and the ones that have to pay for it are the developers, right? Not Mr. Guillemot himself, or any of the Guillemot brothers. So
they're too busy sexually harassing underlings.
Yeah.
And the last thing here is that Sony shares soared after their game strength boosted investor confidence. Sony's gaming unit reported a 37% jump in quarterly profit, and PlayStation 5 sales were 9.4 million units during the year-end shopping season.
What do they have? My brother texted me today, and he said, "Hey, my son just bought a PS5. Do you think he would be? I should let him play the God of War, the last two God of War games." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I think they're pretty good. And as far as God of War goes, they're actually pretty tame. In terms of like, adult content. You know what I mean? But then I was like, he's like, what other games should he look into? And I was like, I don't know. What does PlayStation have? What do they have?
Horizon?
What?
Horizon?
Oh, yeah. But I do think that franchise has taken a little bit of a downturn, if I'm being honest.
Why? They have a Lego game now.
That's the mark of any success. Spider-Man, I was like,
there.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Just that alone.
But like I feel like they gotta have
Astrobot, Demon Souls, Final Fantasy 7.
I mean, a lot of those are on other things too.
I think Spider-Man's probably pretty big.
Spider-Man's the one, yeah. So
and anyway. that's the thing is that Microsoft doesn't have that. Xbox used to have like Halo, but what are they doing? They're just shitting
Xbox
in their
has
hands and rubbing
that-
on their face.
That is the thing. Xbox has nothing. They don't have like a key franchise.
And they're like trying to like pawn off what they still do have.
Yeah.
Last of Us, Uncharted,
yeah, but
Death Stranding.
Dave, my prediction.
Ooh, Marvel's
game of the year,
Wolverine's coming out. That's gonna be dope.
that one does look good. So yeah, I think they've got some
Um,
stuff. I just think it's hard because like you see Nintendo and you're like, Nintendo
God
has
of
popped out some
War?
bangers. Yeah, that's
God
what I
of War
told
is a
him.
big one.
That's what he started with.
Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding. Can't play that anywhere else. Yeah, I don't know.
You got
Yeah.
decent offering.
All right, let's order us up a basket of riblets. You want your waiter to judge you. Order a basket of riblets. He'll bring 'em out.
You're like, hey, how are the riblets? They just look at you like,
How are the riblets? How are the riblets tonight? Good. Ow. Yeah, they came from the same bag that I dumped in the microwave. I mean,
like we have full size ribs, and you're like, that's too much meat. I want less meat, more.
doesn't really
bone.
matter. We're doing them all in the bank of microwaves in the back. You know that freezer section at the grocery store where there's like Applebee's things? That's all we have here, man. Are you not paying attention?
It's like, yeah, we'll heat it up for you, I guess. I don't know.
Just put it in a different box. Riblets are little meat news chunks. Not enough. Not a full
meat
rib.
news.
Meat news.
It's news about meat. That's it.
News for your meat. PlayStation quietly removed some slop shovelware PlayStation 5 games following an investigation. Dude, I thought we reported on this. We must not have. I saw the story. I guess I didn't put it on the doc a couple weeks ago. There was a report that there were a ton of like, those cheapy, crappy games you see on the mobile gaming stores.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why is it always it's like a king that's gonna get squished by spikes? That's always the ad I see. I'm like, what is this shit?
You see that one a lot. Or the mom and the daughter who are freezing in a decrepit old mansion.
What is that? So I guess the PlayStation Store was just beset by these games. And a lot of them were worse than the ones that were where it's like an absolute like joke where you click into it and it's not at all what you thought you purchased. And so they removed a bunch. They didn't say anything about it. But then I don't know, the person that wrote this article didn't really look that hard because there are still tons on there. I think it's going to be either an ongoing process or it's just going to be something that Sony just throws in the towel on because they're like, I don't know. That's just what it is. You have a big enough game store, you can't curate it all. I guess you can if you're Steam.
Once you let these in,
yes,
you can't get them out.
Yeah.
It's like a virus.
Yeah. So slop shovelware is, I kind of like that term, slop. I got to start using that more. Describe things. Take-Two's Strauss Zelnick is unconcerned by plummeting PlayStation 5 and Xbox sales. I don't know what this headline is. I don't understand anything. And in fact, in our own reporting, I reported in JD's sales report from Reuters that Sony had 9.4 PlayStation 5 sold during the year-end shopping season. But then on that Xbox report that said PlayStation 5 only sold 4 million in the entire last year. I don't.
In Europe? Was it just in Europe?
No, I
don't know.
I don't. PlayStation.
Oh, I think maybe just people make up numbers.
I think people are just making up numbers. So I don't know what this article from IGN is talking about when they're talking about plummeting PlayStation 5 sales. I don't know. They're plummeting. Xbox is plummeting. I don't know. I don't know anything that's going on. This is the best part about
maybe
having
the
a
sales
podcast.
are plummeting because the PS5 is.
I guess they probably
like
sold a lot more
now.
Yeah, they sold a lot more PS5s in like 2020 and 2021 than they are now.
I
Anyway,
would
long story short, Strauss Zelnick, the guy over 2K, which is over Rockstar, which is over the guys that are making GTA.
We gotta
6.
talk. We gotta talk.
Strauss Zelnick's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about anything. because once this game comes out, everything's just going to be fine.
I'm
And
rich.
and now I'm starting to think, dude, how much of an atom bomb Grand Theft Auto 6 is, even if it sucks, great or not. The fact that this game is being looked at as something, as a significant console mover at the tail end of this console's life cycle, not unlike Grand Theft Auto 4 did. But they're like, yeah, this is going to sell a billion consoles.
So many consoles.
And that every other like AAA game studio doesn't want to be within a month or two of its release. And we still don't have a complete like 100%. I wonder how much Microsoft and Sony PlayStation are looking at this and they're like, can we help you make sure that this comes out before the holiday season 2025?
Yeah.
Because,
You want to
like-
borrow some of our guys?
Yeah.
We'll lay off so many people right now.
And
that you can
we'll
take 'em.
pull all of our exclusive titles, both from Microsoft Game Studios and Sony. Nothing will come out within 3 months of GTA 6. You just get that out so we can actually sell our fucking consoles. Dude, this is wild.
This is after though Microsoft boss was like, should we buy Rockstar? We shouldn't buy them, right? No, that's crazy, right? They're like, stop buying.
No, if Phil Spencer says the word buy, there's this little electronic collar around his neck with a small explosive wired to some C4 that will literally explode his head.
He's like, no, but hear me out. We're gonna buy Rockstar right before
His
GTA
Microsoft
6.
bosses are like, if you say buy one more time, just that word, this dog collar will literally explode your head. Don't even fucking think it.
You pop it, boop, right off.
Boop. It's just like a cork.
Kudos.
Kudos, some positivity, and I think it's only Fudos this week, right?
I have one that's not. I have two.
Okay,
My-
you do one of yours.
My first one is a Redudos because it's for Mr. Charlie's Chicken. I believe JD has talked about this before.
Mhm.
The chicken place here in Utah. It's tiny. It's not like a huge place, but I always see it mentioned on like Reddit threads of like, what's the best places to eat in Salt Lake? You know, that sort of thing. 'Cause
Mhm.
people are always like, you got to go to Mr. Charlie's. They do a sauce of the month. So this is there's a chicken place up by me. It's called The Bird. The chicken is fine, but they have like 4 sauces and they're all the basic one. They have like ranch, barbecue, honey mustard. Like it's just the basic one and fry sauce. And they're not even like originally like spectacular.
Sauce is the only thing
So
that
it's really
matters.
dumb.
No.
Mr. Charlie's Chicken has like 10 sauces or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
they
a sauce
rotate a
of the
monthly
month.
sauce. Yep.
And we
Dude.
tried 4 of them and they were all good. In fact, I'm not a big fry sauce guy. I know my Utah listeners just flipped, but fry sauce is just mediocre to me. They have the best fry sauce I've
Well,
had.
for fried chicken, you can do better than fry sauce. It really isn't.
They have the best fry sauce I've ever had. It was heavily seasoned.
Mhm.
So it didn't just taste like mayo and ketchup. Very good. Honestly, Mr. Charlie's Chicken, if you're in the area, it's not like expensive either. It's just like normal price of like, any fast food place you'd go to. Very good. I really
Charlie's
enjoyed
is really
it.
affordable, which is what I kind of liked about it in the past.
Solid chicken. And I made the mistake. I was like, I've been to Popeyes, usually get the 3-piece tender meal, and like that's a good meal. I can eat all that. So I was like, they had a 2 or a 4. So I was like, I will just get the 4 because we were both pretty hungry. Got the
You're
4
meaty.
for me and 4 for Colin. I ate 2. Colin ate 1. And we were like so full. I was like, I can't eat anymore. So we took to go more chicken than we actually ate because they are big fat chicken fingers.
Yeah, they're fucking
Big fat chicken.
big
fingers.
fingies. Yeah, I like that part.
Yes, very good. Mr. Charlie. So
yeah,
redo
Jen and I
those.
hit
I
that
know,
up
but good
When
place.
we're starving, we'll get that, and I think we'll get like 6 or 8, and then split them.
Yep.
I have a quick one for Fudos for Skittles fruit snacks. You guys may have seen these popping up in your grocery stores. I saw them at Winco, big old box. And Jenna's like, oh, don't get a big box. What if they suck? I was like, well, then we're going to have to choke down a lot of shitty fruit snacks. But luckily,
Like the worst fruit snacks still aren't that bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. So I was like, I can figure this out. And then I want to share them because I'll be like, I'll eat them for you.
You hated these, right, Jenna?
I'm such a gentleman, dude. It's unbelievable. So yeah, they're good. They taste like Skittles. A lot of the
Nice.
flavors are Skittle-esque, but they're in a fruit snack thing. There's like those gummy Skittles.
Yeah,
Those suck.
It's not like
Those
that.
fucking
It's not
suck.
like
No,
those.
these are like fruit snacks that taste like
Okay.
Skittles.
I like that.
And I'm addicted to them. Like I'll grab 2 packs at once because
Mm.
when you're a 180-pound man, you don't get 1 pack of
One pack of fruit snacks is like, what are we doing?
You don't do
That's
that.
not even a snack.
No.
That's a fruit nibble.
Yeah, it's a fruit nibble. No, I need at least 2 packs. And if I'm on a 2-pack a day habit, like I go through that box in like a week. I'm going through a carton of skits just like that.
It's JD, your 2-pack a day is too much. You're like, we're talking about fruit snacks and not cigarettes, right? Then why are you always coughing? Because I'm always choking on a fruit snack.
I got so much
'Cause
fruit snacks. in my
Sometimes I don't
throat.
chew them hard enough.
I'm bombing snacks. I'm bombing them. My God. Yeah, they're good. If you see them, check them out. I think you guys will like them. If you like Skittles or fruit snacks, you'll like these.
And I've got one other quick kudos. It's for a TV show. It's on its 3rd season, but I just recently discovered it. It's called The Floor. It's a game show hosted by Rob Lowe.
Lowe. Why did I know that?
I don't know. They were talking about it at the Super Bowl a lot. Like, watch The Floor, the new season of The Floor. I just had it was on Hulu and I was cooking and I was like, I need something to watch. So I put that on. Got really hooked on it. It's so simple. It's the stupidest thing, but it's 100. There's a big floor with 100 squares in it, and there's a person on each square, and they each have a category. And it's like, it's a category they've picked themselves. So like, my category is Taylor Swift songs, and my category it's just like super random stuff sometimes. And how it works is it'll randomly pick somebody and they have to challenge somebody next to them, someone's square that's touching their square. And you challenge them in their category. So you don't challenge them in your category. If you win, your category stays and you take over their square. So now you have 2 squares, right? And you can keep challenging and stuff like that. And it's just quick trivia. How the challenge works is they stand face to face and it'll show like a picture. And it's usually very basic, and you have a timer. When it's your turn, your timer starts ticking down, and you have to say what it is. The category is football, and it'll show like a referee, and you're like referee, and then you know what I mean. It'll just like, and then the next person's turn, and their timer starts. It's just like fast paced trivia. It's not super difficult, but for some reason, it is the most addicting game show that I think I've ever watched.
How often do you know the answers personally?
Me, I think I know the answer 80% of the time.
That's a fun game. See, I like that shit. I like that.
Yeah.
If you're watching it and it's like super hard Jeopardy and you're like, what is all this? What are these who would know this shit?
Exactly. And this is not that. This is like, the answers, and the people will get stuck and you're screaming at the TV like, well, come on. Like sometimes they know the answer and you're like, yeah, I had no idea. It's really fun. It's an easy to watch because it's not like I said, it's not super challenging. They do 7 or 8 matchups on each episode. So season 2 is all on Hulu, and we just binge watched like the whole season, just like keep it going, because then it's like you kind of get into it because then someone will have like 50 squares, right? And then like everyone's trying to challenge them, and like if someone challenges you and the challenger wins, you inherit whatever category that wasn't used. So sometimes these people end up with a category they don't really know anything about. They just end up with a random category because they beat somebody. So it's really fun. So check it out. Seriously, check it out.
Where was it? Did you say where it's streaming?
Hulu.
Got it.
Season 3, because season 3 is live right now, so like it's going right now. But all of season 2 is on Hulu, so check it out. It is fun, easy to watch. I have really been enjoying
The
it.
Floor.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so good.
Don't play no. Reindeer games with
Nice.
Don't play no reindeer games with me.
The best part right here.
I read your letters, Convict.
They got a shitload of cookies.
Don't play no reindeer games with me.
Dude, wait, have you not seen this yet?
No.
Okay, this Christmas, if not sooner, you need to watch Reindeer Games because you
I
will come
know.
out. I mean, you've listened to the episode of How Did This Get Made about it, right?
Mm-hmm. I have.
You've got to watch it. I can't believe you haven't seen it at this point. Like it is
I know.
like,
I don't think about it. To be
outrageously
honest.
insane. It's like every twist that happens, you're like, oh, that's quite a twist. And then you think about the twist for longer than 2 seconds. You're like, wait, what? What the fuck? That doesn't even what?
It's because I just don't even think about the movie.
I know, and that's like everybody, and that's what Ben Affleck would and Charlize Theron would prefer, and Gary Sinise like don't think about Reindeer Games. We don't want you to think about it. Reindeer Games is where we play a little game here on the podcast, and this week's theme is Switcheroo. I was inspired by the idea of EA owning World of Warcraft's Blizzard. Yeah.
So when I was growing up, Switcheroo was like when you and your buddy were making out with girls, and then you switched mid makeout session.
Yeah, it was fun growing up in the 80s where like sexual assault was a joke. You're like in a game. I think we even have names for it.
They were on board with the
I learned
Switcheroo.
this from Porky's. Wholesome family flick.
This is just like that. It is exactly
It was in the
like
family
that.
section. Of course it's okay. Switcheroo is not that. Switcheroo is just a switcheroo.
I don't know. Well,
It's just a switcheroo.
that's like saying Limp Bizkit is a band and not a.
it is
jerk-off
now.
game.
No, we're not talking about Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
We're talking about Ookie Cookies or Flat Crackers. We're not doing it.
Okay.
All right. So I've got
I did want to talk about that, but okay,
are
whatever. Keep going.
We have a channel in our podcast Discord just for that. Are we just going to do these 5? You want us to do these 5 then?
If you have others,
I don't
yeah,
have
just
others. Do
spit
you
'em
have
out. Yeah,
others?
I don't. Let's do these 5.
Yeah, let's just go down the list. All right, my
Okay.
first one here. And by the way, I will post this in our Discord when we're done here, and you guys can answer these as well. So it's a little easier, so you don't have to like go digging through the episode. So the first one here on our Reindeer Games is: would you rather play a Skyrim made by Ubisoft? And I guess you got to think Ubisoft 2010, so it's like an older Ubisoft, or Assassin's Creed made by Bethesda. Which game do you think would come out better?
This one,
And this is like they're age appropriate. This is not today's Ubisoft, like the gutted husk of a studio that it is now, or the Bethesda that put out Starfield. These are like, I guess, kind of both of those studios at their peak.
They're like height. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's easy for me though.
Okay.
I would rather play Assassin's Creed by Bethesda. Here's why. Mostly because Skyrim is a beloved game. I think it's age appropriate for most people, and Ubisoft does not do that well. Ubisoft, for some reason, I don't want them to turn Skyrim into some freaking like edgelord preteen version of a game, because
there's mods for that to turn.
They
this
love
into a
dropping.
Ubisoft game.
They just drop the F-bomb comically often in their games. You're like, that was so unnecessary, and like, yeah, I can't play a Ubisoft game with one of my kids around because they just like can't help themselves, and like they just like to throw. I just don't want that to happen to Skyrim.
Yeah, that's fair.
Skyrim is a wholesome
game.
Look
at that fucking dragon!
I'm gonna right in the coney, and you're like, what?
What?
Dude, that's what they would do. They would try to Game of Thrones it. I do want to see maybe an RPG version of like an Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean? Like a Bethesda RPG version could be pretty cool. So yeah, that's why I would switch it that way. What would you do?
I think I would agree with you. I think if I like gun to my head, that's the choice I'd like to see, because I think the main difference is that I didn't specify. I guess if you say Assassin's Creed 1, I didn't really specify. I just thought like a Bethesda Assassin's Creed game. But Assassin's Creed 1 wasn't like the best. Assassin's Creed 2 was like the best.
Started to get really good, yeah.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed 1, yeah, someone else remakes it. It probably doesn't come out any worse than the first one. But it was kind of fun to think about a Skyrim by Ubisoft, because I think Skyrim does have a lot of really cool set pieces, But what's cool, because it's a Bethesda game, is those feel like really organic, that you just appear in that set piece and you're like, oh my God, like there's this dragon flying overhead. I think seeing that in a Ubisoft, it would feel like it would make Skyrim, it would take Skyrim from feeling like a really awesome game to feeling like an incredible movie.
Ubisoft does make some of the best looking set pieces in games.
I think it could have elevated the cinematic moments of Skyrim. I think the overall
Absolutely.
game
Yeah, I think
probably
you're right.
wouldn't have been as magical or as I don't know, just the way the Skyrim, like its glitches and its bugs are charming. Like that game is just fucking charming and
Yeah.
delightful. Like the fact that you can just run up to a butterfly and just eat it while it's flying through the sky,
can?
like yeah, you can just grab them and then just eat the.
I don't know if I've ever done that.
You can just grab bugs and fish and anything, and then you can just go into your inventory and just eat them. I don't think that
Nice.
would appear in the Ubisoft version, but I do think crazy moments like when you're assassinating that king that's visiting, could be fucking amazing from
Probably
Ubisoft.
be a lot bloodier if Ubisoft
Mhm.
made it.
Yeah, a lot squirtier. All right, what's another game series you'd want to see? Here's a good one. What is another game series that you would want to see Sonic the Hedgehog in? And as a follow-up, what happens if you take the main character from that game and put it into a Sonic game?
Okay, so mine was I fudged this question just a little bit because
Yeah.
mine was a little bit more conceptual.
Okay.
So you know how like think World of Warcraft, right? Where you fast travel and you pull out your mount. Or to like you pull out a mount to move faster. Well,
Mhm.
what if in like a World of Warcraft you had instead of a mount, you could just go into you could have the option of going into Sonic mode. And that's how you zipped around the map. Instead of like hopping on a mount, you're just like, all right, here we go. And
you
you're
just
like,
get it, ball yourself up and just roll really fast places.
yes. I think that would be fantastic.
Okay,
You'd be
now
like,
you have to put a World of Warcraft player into a
yes.
Sonic game.
So then what would happen though? If like what's his name? Like what's his name?
Dr.
Arthas? Like
Robotnik?
if
Arthas.
if
Yeah. Okay.
Arthas is in like the Sonic universe, he easily annihilates everything. Like some of the WoW characters are so extremely powerful, like there would be no
I don't know. Super Sonic
challenger.
versus Arthas is a fight I would show up to watch. Super Speed has been proven time and again to be just such a ridiculously
It is
overpowered
pretty
ability
OP. Yeah.
that I would love to see that.
But
If
yeah, I want to see all my WoW characters zip around Sonic's tower. Can you imagine you just instead of seeing other people on horses going around, everyone's just rolling around in a ball?
Yeah. Just like it's just like
I would-
Tron. There's just like a color line
Just
behind
zipping
them and they're
around.
just zooming.
Yes.
Dude,
I
that's
don't know.
a really fun one. I was trying to think. I'm trying to think like where Sonic's like his attitude, his spunk
Oh, okay.
would do well. And I'm just thinking this is gonna sound crazy. Just take Sonic and drop him in the latest Spider-Man game.
He would
In the
fit.
city, running around, zipping around. He can fight the same enemies. And instead of web slinging, he's just gonna run up the side of a building and jump off of it really far. But
Would Spider-Man and Sonic ever interact? Because I don't think they would ever stop talking.
I think dude, that's what I want to see. I want to see Sonic team up with fucking Spider-Man.
They're fighting, and it is
Th-
nonstop dialogue
Nonstop banter.
during the fight. They're
Oh,
fighting, and it is
constant
just
banter.
constant.
Can you imagine like the team up of like Sonic like getting like
That's
web
pretty
slinging
good.
and then like whipping him around and zooting him? Dude, I just want to see a Spider-Man Sonic mashup. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty great.
and
then
those
on
games
On the
are good.
reverse, you throw Spider-Man over into the Sonic universe. He'd fit in great. You know what I mean? Fighting Dr. Robotnik is like right up his alley.
Yeah, it'd be like Doc Ock.
Yeah,
He's
it's
got
like-
his own version in his
Yeah.
own universe. That's the thing.
Be very
Sonic goes and
familiar.
fights Doc Ock, and Spider-Man goes and fights Dr. Robotnik.
Also, he would not. The good thing is he wouldn't have to pull his punches because he's fighting lots of like robots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He could just smash those things
Yeah,
as
just break
much
the
as he
shit out of 'em.
wants. Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
like punching people, and so
Uh-huh.
yeah, he would have no compunctions about like just throwing stuff around.
And then ultimately, we get to see a universe where Sonic fights like Thanos
Just
or like
sits around.
Galactus.
That Sonic, where Sonic potentially gets one of the Infinity Stones. I don't know.
Or all of them. Who cares? Give him a gauntlet.
He's just Sonic Gauntlet.
He always, dude. See, that's the thing is Sonic has his own version of Infinity Stones. He's got the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah,
This is such a good fit.
it is a good.
I'm really
fit.
selling myself on this.
Yep. No, you're selling me too. I kind of like it.
All right, our next switcheroo is what is one modern game you wish you could have played at LAN parties when you were younger?
There's an answer came to my head immediately. Chivalry 2. This would have been so fun to have all your buddies in the because it's fun playing even online with your friends.
Yeah.
You're all in the room together, just like
and you
doing
hear
chivalry
all the
stuff.
different screams of everyone's different battle cries.
I don't know why. I think that would be so fun as a LAN
Oh.
party.
Fuck, that would be fun.
I just thought of that and I was like, that was the immediate answer. And I was like, that's it. I can't think of anything else.
Chivalry LAN party. Could you do? I guess you could do it.
Yeah,
I
you
bet
could.
they have LAN
Probably.
like
I
the
don't
setup
know.
in Shiv.
You could just all bring your computers to the
The
same
idea of
place, I guess.
having not headphones on, but having like speakers.
Yeah.
Everyone has speakers, and so it would sound like you were in a big battle because everyone has their own
Just
sounds.
hearing chaos.
Oh my god, that would be so fun!
And you don't get mad when you play Shiv. And that's the thing
No.
about like LAN parties. It's like sometimes people get mad, but most of the time you're just laughing. Chivalry, you never get mad because you're always dying and it's
from
hilarious. Yep.
because the kills are funny, the deaths are funny. It's funny if you
Everything's
die.
funny. You lose.
Funny if you kill a guy.
You're having a good time.
It's just funny. You
Yep.
fall off a wall. It's funny. I would probably go with you'll like this. I think I'd like Rocket League. I think like 8 people in a room playing Rocket League together.
3.
You
Ranked
hate 4 on
only.
4.
Ranked only.
Ranked LAN battles. What? Yeah, I think
No,
I don't
Rocket
know.
League would be a great one for it.
I think it would. Yeah, I think it'd be. I'm trying to think of some other games. Like, what are some other multiplayer games that I played recently? That I don't know. That was like the very first one that came to mind.
I mean, like, I think any of them would be great. Like, PUBG would have been awesome to do, like, LAN party. Like, if you're just all in the same room, I guess. Marvel Rivals would be also pretty fun. But I think Rocket League would be a blast. Just get everyone together and just, like, start playing games of Rocket League, switching up the teams. You know what I mean? Playing tournament style. Doing that sort of thing. So yeah, that would be a good
Yeah, the tournament. I think if you were doing, because then you'd play all those different crazy modes. Because I spent so much time in my youth playing San Francisco Rush 2049 on the Dreamcast with 4 people on the same screen at the same time, and so I feel like that would just feel like a slight update.
Rocket League has the right amount of competition too, where you're like you can compete with each other. Because that's always a fun part of LAN parties too, is like the competition of it. So competing with each other would have been a blast in Rocket League live in the same room.
Okay, how about this one? Change a free-to-play game to a paid game and vice versa.
This one, I wrote this one and I actually kind of had a hard time with it.
Free-to-play games to a paid game. So you get rid of basically all the microtransactions and shit, and it's just like a straight up game.
I had an easy time coming up with games that I think paid games that would do well as free to play. Sea of Thieves was the first one that came to mind. And if you have Game Pass, right, you're playing it for free. But there are microtransactions you can do and like Battle Pass and things you can get. But the game still is, you have to pay for it. It's still a paid game. I just think it would be better if there was no barrier to entry. More people would be in. And so Sea of Thieves, I think, would benefit. Also, come on, World of Warcraft. Like, What do we? Why? I've never understood their business model. I know they made a ton of money doing it. Never understood it. It should be a free to play
$30
game
a
at this
month.
point. Should be
Yeah.
a free to play game at this point. Like what? Like I'm not gonna jump in and pay that. Like that sounds so stupid to me. So yeah, they should be free at this point. World of Warcraft should be. I don't know what they're thinking. They've
What
got a billion microtransactions already, so
Okay, this one's gonna blow your mind, and I think it would be a game that we might still play if it were free, if it were a paid game. League of Legends. League of Legends costs $20. It started at 40 and now it's available for $20. But buying the game gets you every character. Every character, and there's like a practice mode because it's not necessarily a treadmill game where they're just trying to keep you on it all the time. Once they get your $20, they're happy if you bounce off and you ease their servers because they got your $20.
I do like that. I think that's a great
But
answer
I think the game ends up being better because it doesn't feel like it's this treadmill-y grind, even all the way down to the meta part of the game where they want these games to be anywhere from 45 minutes to 75 minutes because they want you to feel like super locked in and invested in this one game. It's easier to bounce off a game when the matches are only 5 minutes long. Then you can go do another game. But when you're locked in for an hour plus, and if you jump off, you're punished and penalized. The whole game is designed that way, and it detracts from the game being fun. When it's working and you're playing it and your team's cooking along, it's fun. But you are having fun despite the way the game is designed, not because of it. But yeah, you charge $20 for it, you might have a good game.
I also think games like that can benefit from having a barrier to entry. Like you're not going to get as many
Smurfs,
14, 15, 16-year-old kids
yeah,
playing. And not that I don't want them to play, but they are comfortable adding a level of toxicity to the game, which makes a lot of people just like bounce off of it. But if you have to pay 20, 30, 40 bucks, they're not going to. Their friends aren't going to. So if there's a barrier to entry, it might make the game better for those who do pay to play it. Right? I do like that. That's the answer.
It's hard for me to come up with a game that is paid that I would encourage, like you with World of Warcraft. That's a good one. But it's hard for me to think of another game that I'm like,
I got
that
one
game
other
would benefit. Well, yeah. What do you got?
OG Fortnite. So the original version of Fortnite was not a battle royale. It was a base building because you're building a base and then defend. It's not free. It still is not free. You have to buy it.
Save the world.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I feel like
Dude, good for them. That's fuck yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's
that
awesome.
was the original version of the game.
That's the one we played.
Yeah, and like I don't know why it's not free anymore. Like it should be free. They should just be letting people play it at this point because they have it.
Yeah.
And nobody plays it. Nobody plays it. And they should. It's a fun game. It's good. It's just got overshadowed by Battle Royale by like leaps and bounds, but that should be free.
Funny. All right, and our last one here for the switcheroo is take a first-person shooter and turn it into a different genre, and a game from that genre, turn that into a first-person shooter.
Yep. Okay, so I've got mine.
Okay. When you start?
Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront's first-person shooter. A good game, but I would crap my pants if we got, instead of that, we got it as a Total War game. You know I love Total War games. Total War Star Wars would be mind-blowing, and Battlefront is built for that. You're doing battles in the Star Wars universe as a first person, which is great. Again, I love that idea, but also if I could do that as a Total War game and do it as like a, zooming out and commanding troops and doing the battles in a Star Wars style battle, I would love that. And then vice versa, if I were to turn a Total War game into a first-person shooter game, so I would turn, which this might be sacrilegious to some people, Total War Warhammer, which is a game I loved. But can you imagine doing chivalry type of battles in the Total War universe.
I would
And
love
so-
it as part of that Total War. So like when you got to the battle, you like jumped into the first person mode.
Yeah, that would be, and there are actually Total War types of games that have done that in the past. But yeah, just like having some of those crazy Total War troop types, you could go in and be like, and you got to fight some of the big things, and there's like, you can unlock being one of the big things, but like, then you'd have a bunch of your bowmen shooting it and things like that. Like, I think that could be like, I guess chivalry plus, like it'd be like a fantasy chivalry where you are just like stepping it up, the craziness and the chaos of it by adding a whole bunch of different races and classes and all that sort of thing. I think could be an amazing time, and I really wish we had that. I want Warhammer. I want Warhammer chivalry is what I want.
Yeah, I dig that. That could be fucking brutal. So when I think of first person shooter, I think of two things. First, always comes to mind is Halo. I don't know. I probably have spent more time playing Call of Duty historically, but my mind just goes straight to Halo. But I was like, no, what's next? What's the second option? For me, I go to Doom.
Okay.
So we're taking Doom.
Okay.
And I am turning Doom into a turn-based RPG, like a creature collector. So Doom guy, instead of killing all these monsters, is collecting them to battle the other monsters. And that's a Doom guy. He's a trainer.
It is a Pokemon. It is a Doom Pokemon.
Doom Pokemon. Yep. Which I was like, well, that's dumb, because then the flip side of the switcheroo is that you have a first-person shooter game with Pokemon, which we already have that game.
Yeah, that's Pal
It already
World.
exists, which I feel like bears my concept out. That's why this should work. That's why Doom needs a creature collector, because, hey, Pal World worked.
Yeah.
We put guns in Pokemon and it worked just fine. So why don't we try to put Pokemon in guns?
We need to be doing more creature collectors.
We
is what
really
need
do.
To be doing.
Oh my God. Spoiler alert. I told Peterson this, but I started playing a porn game just because it's a creature collector.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not enough out there. And that's how deep into the creature collector games on Steam I am. I've gotten down to the bedrock of porn, just porn games down there.
To be fair, it does look pretty funny.
That's the other problem, is it's fucking hysterical. It's just
very
like,
dirty.
Like
but
it knows
funny.
it's like a filthy, raunchy game, and it just leans into it, and it ends up being
It's the same people that made the one that I played, Red Scarlet Maiden, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Same people that made that, which that game it wasn't like taking it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, you're gonna get so horny playing this game.
Yeah, it's not horny. It's just like funny
Gross.
sex humor.
Yeah.
Which is just funny.
I guess that's the better version of that genre, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you gotta have a sex game, it better be self-aware.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just gross.
Quit trying to be
like
horny.
Dick goblins in that other game that I played.
Okay, but come on, that is so funny.
They were pretty fucking funny. But it was funny. It was unintentionally funny. They didn't realize.
They were trying
these goblins' dicks that hit their kneecaps was gonna be funny. They thought that was hot. Anyway, so I'll drop these in the Discord right now. We want to hear from you guys. What would be your switcheroos, or if you have other switcheroo questions, we want to
ask away.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice of Destiny is this fun game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a dice to see who's going to be rolling the Dice of Destiny itself, a 20-sided dice. Then we that has 20 different game genres assigned to it. Then we find a game in that genre for that price, pick it, play it, review it. Peterson rolled a fighting game for as much as $60.
And it turns out a lot of fighting games like to be $60.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a tough time with this one, only because this is not my genre. Every now and then I do feel like playing one of these like Mortal Kombat style fighting games, like the traditional, one-on-one where you're doing the moves and you got the move set. But here's the thing: I'm not good at them. I never have been good at them. I never can figure out the character's moves. And when I do, like, you'll look it up and you'll be like, what the freak? That's way too complicated. How do you even remember that? So that's not my genre typically. So I was trying to go a little bit different. And what I ended up with is a game called Dojo Masters. I'm just pulling it up right now. Dojo Masters. It is a pixelated fighting game, but it's very simplistic. It is just a couple buttons, and but you got like all your moves. So it's a 2-button fighting game. You've got your moves, very pixelated. From what I've read on the reviews, it's easy until it's not. Like, it's easy to start, and then like the difficulty ramps up. So we'll see how it goes. It's $15 on Steam. But this looks more up my alley in terms of fighting games than and honestly, there were no like really new fighting games out in the like the solid fighting game genre, like the Injustice or the Dragon Ball Z one, or like I would play those, but I try to play something a little bit newer for Dice of Destiny usually. Those games have been out for a long time. People kind of know what they are. And so, yeah, this is what I landed on. Let's hope it's good. So I'll play it this week and I'll have a review for you next week.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear how that goes. Dojo Masters. All right. To play us out, we have the theme from Marvel Rivals.
It's really good too. I think you're going to like it. So Marvel Rivals. Still going strong. Still going so strong.
Yeah, super solid.
Our joke is if the game takes more than 5 seconds to find a match, we're like, this game's dead now. No one's playing anymore. Because most of the time you click find game and it
instant,
immediate, right away. So anyway,
I like that. All right, dudes. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to Patrick for jumping on and hanging out on our live stream. We're on YouTube. We live stream every episode. So come chit chat with us and say what up. I'm JD logging off.
And this is Peterson going AFK.